Indonesia is just so on your left. Actually, it's on the white. The white here, you see that this is the percentage of the population, the penetration of the mutual funds in population. Actually, it's a little bit mistaken here. It's not 2, but it's about 0.2. So it's very, very low penetration of mutual fund in population, because nowadays the number of population in number of investors actually in Indonesia is about 484K, but I think that this is not really the they say that it's actually it's not unique. Unconfirmed number is about 360,000 investors, unique investors right nowadays. So it's about 0.2 of Indonesian population, and the percentage to GDP. You see that here we are still in 2%. So let's compare it with other countries in the neighborhood. It's like Thailand, for instance, they are 6% penetration of the population and 31% of GDP of asset under management. So here also in Malaysia, even better, because they have 57% penetration of in the population and 59% of asset management compared to their GDP. So that's why we see it actually that Indonesia has a lot of potential. So that's why we see that it's really a market that we can get in. There's a lot of room to grow, but also it shows also that a worry actually. We a little bit worried because we don't know why the number of investors actually is very low, knowing that the mutual fund itself has been created in Indonesia since '97. The industry actually has been created in '97. So within 20 years, we see that the number of investors just 360,000. So it means like probably it's like per year it's only like 80,000 increase. So yeah, it's a little bit worrying, but when we see the opportunity, so we see that probably have to come into this market. Next. This is also a little bit about the statistics about the users, the investors in Indonesian mutual fund. We see that the AUM right now is about in 2016 about 326 trillion rupiah, with the growth rate at 20%, and we see that there is a majority. The majority of investors are institution. So there are 70% of institution investors compared to only 30% of retail investors. This, if we compare with the major market, which is United States, for instance, we see that the number of investors actually are dominated from by the retail instead of institution. There's 82% of retail investors compared to only 18% of institution. So this actually is like we see that there's opportunities in retail investors in Indonesia. So we know that the number is now is very, very small. Then we think that in the future, so we see that in the future there's going to be very, very large room to grow. Okay, next. So, and by the fact that the internet penetration is very, very high, so I'm sorry, I'm telling this actually because we are from media before. So before I started this Malaysia, I was a founder in ipanews.com. So actually when the .com started in Indonesia, we see actually the potential of internet. So we see how many people was on the internet, and the growth rate of the internet. We see that the potential of internet is very, very high. So that's why. So we try actually to come into this industry, as we see that the way it was structured, a lot of sales actually were done offline. So everything was assisted. So the main distribution point were banks and securities, and they do it offline. So so what the way it's structured, they only actually sell all these mutual funds to the high net worth. We see that there's a lot of market are untapped, especially that the internet population. So we get into this industry, we try to bring internet and digitalization of the process to really catch this untapped market. Next. So what is our value proposition? So the value proposition that we have is first to be able to provide actually simple and easy way of investing. So nowadays, before, if you want to invest in mutual fund, for instance, or so even for opening an account, sometimes you need 3 days, right? You need someone actually assist you to fill all the forms. So we see that this is actually what makes the mutual fund industry is very, very slow to grow, because everything needs to be assisted. Even the acquisition, the cost of acquisition becomes very, very high. So we try to disrupt this market by providing a very, very simple way to register. By using digitalization, internet, we have only provide like one form to be filled, and it's fully online. So even they can put their signature actually right on their smartphone. So it's very simple. The way they do the transaction, they will be able to do it all from their handphone. They can buy mutual fund, they can do selection of mutual funds, compare mutual funds one from another, and monitor their portfolio. Everything can be done through their mobile phone. So, and also it's anywhere, because, as I said, that it's fully internet-based, fully web-based. So they can do their transactions from everywhere. They can do it from home. They can do it from everywhere. Their office, they can do it from nearly everywhere. And so also it's affordable. Affordable, why? Because we don't charge for currently we don't charge for transaction, and the minimum investment size is very, very low. So they can start. People can start investing actually with 100,000 rupiah. So everybody can actually start investing, even students. Okay, and transparent here, you can monitor your portfolio everywhere. So any mutual funds that you buy will be listed in your portfolio. You can see all the historical purchases and all the also the growth of your portfolio. You will be able to monitor it right on your portfolio management. And the last one is safe and secure, of course. So we try to make sure that everything, every transaction are secure. We provide SSL to protect the password and transfer, and also we provide also dual token authentication when you do redemption. So we send token through your SMS, we validate your handphone, etc. So we provide a safe and secure environment for people to do the transaction. Yeah, the proposition actually is very, very obvious. We see like, I mean, in these four when we compare to the bank savings, for instance, like here we only have like if you have like money market fund, you have only 8% of return. While if you put your money in time deposit, you only have like a 3.4% a year. While if you put your money where a lot of people actually doing it right now is bank saving account, instead of having a return, you lose your money about 14.4%. So the value proposition is very, very obvious. The only I think that here is about education, about the changing the habits from putting your money in saving account. You can earn more money when you put it in mutual funds. So this is a little bit about the return when people ask about how about the investment return in mutual funds nowadays. So here you got, for instance, you have for 5 years in equity funds, you can earn up to 98%. This actually I take July. I think that this one is on September 2017. So we in Malaysia we issue like every week we issue top 5 funds. So this one is for return in 5 years. So we have like for instance like in equity fund you can earn up to 98% for saving in 5 years, investing in 5 years. For fixed income you can get about 64%, while in money market fund you can have like up to 35%. So these are really our customers, our investors today. So here, our investors are mostly millennials. Okay? So I will go a little bit faster. So millennial, our total investors is about 52,000 and mostly dominated by male. Okay? Professions there are in private company most, as well as entrepreneurs. But you see that the number of investors which are students is quite high as well. Because why? Because our, as I say, that's investment in mutual funds in Malaysia is affordable. You can start investing with 100,000 rupiah. So most of our investors are in Jawa Barat and DKI Jakarta, but we see that Jawa Timur, Jawa Tengah is also prevail. But we see that we have investors in Aceh through Jayapura. Next. These are our activities to raise the awareness about the mutual funds. Yeah, we have Malaysia Fund Academy. Every week we have a free online courses. Everybody can register every Wednesday. So we have courses on WhatsApp group. So we'll create groups and we'll send information about how to invest in mutual funds, what is the mutual fund itself, and how to invest in Malaysia. And every month also we will have a Meet Fund Managers program where there's going to be an offline gathering between investors and investment managers, where investors can ask their investment managers their strategy of investment. So everything that you want to know about how mutual funds, how they manage their funds, you can ask in this gathering. I think that this is a little bit about the growth. So the last 2007 actually we have see potential growth of investment in Indonesia. I mean in Malaysia, the number of investors. This one is still July 17th. We have number of investors growth, number of fund invested, as well as asset under management, total transaction. We see that there's a lot of growth. There's a lot of potential to grow even further. And we hope actually next year we can keep on growing like this. But we're still actually very optimistic because we see that the number of investors in mutual funds in Indonesia is very, very low. So we see the market, how big the market is. We see that there's still plenty of room to grow. So I think that This is going to end my presentation today. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Good afternoon everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Oscar Darmawan. Currently, I'm a CEO of Bitcoin Indonesia, which is the biggest digital asset exchange in Indonesia. And actually, based on the volume, we are the biggest in Southeast Asia. Currently, we have around 450,000 members in all over Indonesia, with a daily transaction about 10 million US dollars. I started this company around three years ago back in 2013. In that time, in Indonesia, not many people know about Bitcoin. So when I started Bitcoin.co already in that time, many people asked me, am I an investment company? And some of them even asked me, am I a multi-level marketing company? So I get a lot of skeptical and trust me, in here I will not ask you guys to be our member as a multi-level company. So just be calm. May I know how many of you know about Bitcoin? Any of you know about blockchain? Okay, nice, thank you. So next. Basically, currently our company is run on two sectors. One is C2C under Bitcoin.co.id. We have people to buy and sell digital assets in Indonesia. And our second company called Blockchain.co.id is basically we build infrastructure for financial institutions to use blockchain. So for Blockchain.co.id, it's mostly only on B2B. We have a few financial institutions as our client, but I cannot mention any name because of the agreement. But I can see that in Indonesia, many banks start to realize the potential of blockchain. So, what is this blockchain? The blockchain has been called the biggest invention since the internet. Starting at 2009. In 2009, when in the first time Bitcoin exists in that time, actually blockchain work is not really exist. In 2009, when there is a red paper by Satoshi Nakamoto, he read about Bitcoin in that time. When we talk about Bitcoin in 2009, actually we talk about two things: Bitcoin with a small b and Bitcoin with a big B. Bitcoin as small b, we think as a unit currency, so like the currency of the token itself. But Bitcoin with a big B is the infrastructure. So in that time, in 2009, 2010, 2011, when people mention about the infrastructure, the ledger, the technology, people still use the word Bitcoin. But starting at 2012, 2013, 14, and so on, nowadays, about the technology, we call it as blockchain. So actually, the idea of blockchain is come together with a Bitcoin. Next. So what is this blockchain? I really believe on the blockchain will really change the world, will change the technology. Blockchain is basically a peer-to-peer decentralized technology. It's a distributed ledger system. Basically, it changed the system when currently almost all system is centralized. And basically when there is a client, the client normally connected to the server. But by using the blockchain, it changed the whole structure from centralized into decentralized. For every server that connected to blockchain, basically is interconnected and synchronized, that all data in here, and in here, all is the same. So even though one server or two servers is down, the system is still up. Because the other node will verify the data. Next. I believe this technology can be used for many things. One is remittance. As we all know, Bitcoin or even Ripple has been focused on this remittance market. Second can be used as smart contract, creating business contract, agreement, education, and company like Sony University even create the degree certificate on the blockchain. So the certificate we cannot create a fake certificate, and the certificate can be verified. And I also believe that the blockchain also will go into the Internet of Things. Next. Many public figures talk about this blockchain, like Mr. Bill Gates and even the founder of PayPal say that Bitcoin and blockchain have a potential to change the world. Next. Until now, company like Microsoft has been accepting Bitcoin as payment, and even Microsoft Azure currently integrate with the blockchain using Ethereum. IBM create their own division to research about this blockchain, and many other banks currently involved with this blockchain technology. Next. One of the applications of blockchain that many Indonesians use is cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is only small part of the use of blockchain. Next. Yeah. Nowadays there is 1,130 digital currency that exists using public blockchain. The reason why many people can create this many digital currency is because the original idea of Bitcoin in that time, nobody actually put a patent on it. So when the creator created the idea, the white paper of Bitcoin and the blockchain itself, he just put it on the online. He make it all open source, so all people can study the system, how the blockchain works. Then, based on that white paper, many programmers all over the world now can create a system using the same concept. And that's actually the biggest invention. So the system that able to automatically connect all the servers and verify all the transactions without third party. So that's why many people say that we cannot kill the Bitcoin as long as there is internet. And nowadays, this digital currency, the market cap is around 145 billion US dollars. I realized that this experiment is currently going really well, and many people speculate on the price as well of many digital currency, because the price of digital currency is based on the demand and supply. So our company tried to do some experiment in the 2015 to 2016. In that time, we tried to invest in few assets: Bitcoin, IDX, Dow Jones, fixed deposit, oil saving, and so on. We tried to compare the performance. And in 2015 to 2016, we see that the asset of Bitcoin performance is not always goes up, but eventually it goes up. So it's quite interesting for our company, and I think that's also the reason why many people like to speculate on this digital currency. So our company, Bitcoin.co.id, is basically an Indonesian digital asset exchange. We allow people to set when they want to buy or sell token, we allow them to set the price. So our company is never setting the price for them. So when you become our members, you set your own price, how much you want to buy and how much you want to sell. And basically our system will match the price. You can start trading at 1,000 rupiah, and basically the system is you see it's similar with stock market. You choose when the price is low, you buy it. When the price is high, you sell it. Next. Our headquarters is located in Bali. Many people ask me why in Bali. To be honest, because I love Bali. Yeah. And our branch is in Kuningan. Please feel free to come to our office in Epicentrum. You can find the website, the address in the website in Bitcoin to today. Thank you.
Actually, this is today's a very exciting time because I've been wanting to meet Oscar for a long time. Been playing Bitcoins for 3 years. Trust me, he doesn't need to convert you, but do play Bitcoin. I think it's one of the best investment tools out there, at least to my belief. So yeah, just take it as a pinch of salt, or you take it. So yeah, we're from Odalco. One of the largest peer-to-peer lending in South Asia, so we'll be very happy to share the stories here and what we've been through and why we're here today. So, do you have Iker, by the way? Do you have Iker?
You may say that is
No,
next.
that's next? Okay, next
I
time.
will pick.
So why are we here? So we are here actually to solve one, well, it's a very simple problem, but a very big one at the same time. Can you do next? So this is the problem we're trying to solve, the problem of missing middle. And what is missing middle problem? It is actually a global phenomenon. It doesn't happen only in Indonesia, happening all over the world, in which they say that financial institutions are usually treated for micro enterprises or corporates. So in the business world, the SMEs are having credit crunch because there is no access to them, because the financial institutions are not there to help them, because it's quite difficult. Why? For micro enterprises, actually very easy. You can just disperse the money without doing thorough assessment. For corporates, yes, the assessment will be very tough, but at the same time, the size is quite large. In that case, that in SMEs, the requirement is not simple, it is actually tough as well. The data is not readily available, but at the same time, the size is small. So it is very, very hard for banks or financial institutions to give a 200 or 300 million rupiah of loans. So if the banks, it's not that they are not profitable, but let's say if I am a bank and I have two choices, whether I want to go with a 10 million rupiah loan or 300 million rupiah loan, I would probably choose the 10 million rupiah loan because it's more profitable. It's much better for me because cost-wise, to serve these two segments are the same. So that's why we're here. Next. And this is a small survey by Deloitte, in which they say that in Indonesia it's quite sad that 86% of Indonesia business loans comes from friends and family. This is really, really sad. So this is why we are here in Indonesia. So why there are 3 countries? Because right now we are actually in 3 countries, but let me just focus more on Indonesia, because Indonesia is our main market. So the value proposition really is, hey, let us be the bridge, so let us give you the first SME loans. So one day, if you want to go to banks, please by all means go to banks. So we are here not to replace any banks, we are here to complement banks because we are not serving any bankable customers. Majority of our customers are unbankable people, and by all means they should go to the banks if we can get access from the banks. Next. So this is a snapshot of the people that we are targeting. So in the whole circle of, let's say, the SME credit, of course not all are creditworthy, right? And only tiny portion, if you're from banks, then probably out of the application that you receive, you can only accept 5 to 10% of the application. And is it fair to say that the other 90 are not creditworthy? So we believe there's a big difference between creditworthy and bankworthy. So what banks and financial institutions are serving are the bankworthy. The creditworthy customers are those that we are actually targeting. Not bankworthy, but creditworthy. So those are the people that we're trying to solve. And the size in Indonesia alone is a staggering 1,000 trillion a year of demand. Of gap. The demand itself is 1,700 trillion, but the supply is only 700 trillion. So at the same time, you can say that even the gap is much bigger than what the supply can give. And this is why in Indonesia alone, the potential is huge. But to say that it is quite easy to crack this problem, it will be a very big understatement because it is very, very tough. A lot of people have been trying to crack the problem, but it is not that easy. We consist of thousands of islands, and infrastructure is not as good, so it's becoming quite difficult to do the whole financial inclusion, especially on the fraud. Because in Indonesia, the biggest driver of the single biggest driver of default actually comes from fraud. And this is the area that we are trying, really trying to be very careful on. Next. So who we are? We are a marketplace lending, peer-to-peer, especially for business loans. So think of us as Uber, but instead of connecting driver with riders, we're connecting SMEs with people who have more capitals. Just to get this straight, we are not creating any credit, because what we do is simply moving capitals. Peer-to-peer lending is all about democratization of capital allocation. So we only allocate capital for people who have more capital to people who need capital. So we do not create additional credit, we do not print money, we cannot create inflation. And that's what we are trying to do here. Next. So just a brief history, it comes from UK. So imagine that even in one of the most advanced country in the world, there is still financial gaps. That is why financial gap is a global phenomenon, but it is way more chronic in developing market. As you can see here, China started in 2007, just 2 years after UK, and in 10 years they have become 2,000 trillion of market, 2,000 trillion of rupiah. Whereas in the UK, you can see they started early, but of course the financial gap doesn't is not really, I would say not that big compared to China, and Indonesia will be quite similar to China in a way that the financial gap is quite huge. So expect Indonesia's number to be quite big, but again, to solve this problem is extremely difficult task. Next. So again, we are right now in 3 countries, and quite grateful that right now we are in Southeast Asia with disbursement of 650 billion rupiah already done in these 3 countries. Next. And simple background. Just go through quickly here. So we first started when Calvin and I met at dorm. Probably we started at a very small room, probably only that big, and from that little dorm we moved. We become who we are today, because we decided to start in February 2015, and first launched in Singapore because we believe Singapore will be the hub. And then a few months later, we actually met Pak Khatib Basri, which is the former finance minister of Indonesia, and he's been helping us ever since, and been very helpful to us. So we launched in Singapore, 2016 January we launched in Indonesia, and 2017 we launched in Malaysia. Indonesia currently is our biggest market. We have disbursed more than 310 billion rupiah already. And just last month we are officially registered in OJK, and this month, actually 2 months ago, officially registered in OJK, and this month we are, and last month we won the global FinTECH 250, so we are recognized as one of the top 250 FinTech globally, and we are the only digital lender in Southeast Asia to receive the award. So we're quite grateful and honored that ever since our inception, in 2 years, we are already recognized in the global stage. So that's who we are. Next. So a very simple picture of what you can expect as an SME lender. SME, you will be able to get loans up to 2 billion rupiah from 12 to 20% flat. And the idea really is we are not competing with banks, and this is the proof. First, we are not doing any collateral. Secondly, it is more expensive. And that is why if you are bankable customers, like always go to banks, why do you bother to go to us? We are serving those who cannot get access from banks. So what's happening in Indonesia? There are a lot of loan sharks, right? So the alternative for these SMEs is more like this. One, I can't get financing from banks, but I can get it from loan shark with 300% of interest rate. Then I have an option in Modalku, I can get loan with 30%. Why shouldn't I take it? So we are actually competing with the loan sharks, not with the banks. That's the first point. Second one, even though you are bankable, probably sometimes you get the money fast because you need 2 months. You need it by next week probably. And this is something that we can actually serve. Because if you go to banks, yes, you can get a lot of money, but you need time. So if you want to get a lot of money and your time is on your side, then you should go there. What we can help is, hey, if you need money next month, or sorry, not next month, next week, then we can help you with that. At the same time, at an quite affordable rate. And the third one really is all about, so I've talked about speed, I've talked about that. And yeah, no collateral, because most SMEs do not have collateral to begin with. So we are trying to solve the chicken and egg problem. Without collateral, you can't get financing. Without financing, you can grow. Without growing, you can't have assets. So this is the problem we're trying to solve. That we're holding you is not collateral, but your cash flow. So cash flow for us is important. And we are very happy to talk in more details on what we mean by cash flow. Next. So today, 3 markets. Number 1 in Indonesia. Number 1 in Malaysia, but only small margins, so not that big. In Singapore, we're not the largest. Probably number 2, number 3, we're actually quite late back then, but we're trying to play the catch-up game. Today, we have 25,000 of registered lenders, and what we're quite proud of is 40% are millennials. So this is quite an interesting fact. Also, 40% are those who invest the first time in their lives. Because we can invest in modal as low as 1 million rupiah, so quite low. So the target is huge. What is the worst that they can lose? 1 million, 10 million rupiah. So they are willing to try for these quite intriguing ideas that we have. Next. So this is the biggest difference between us and banks or financial institutions. As you can see, we are very, very different. The offer rate is quite minimum, whereas in banks, because you have collateral, you want to have long-term loans. Because you have collateral, anytime it's executed, we do not have that. But with your cash flow, you can predict what's going to happen in the next 3 months, 6 months, or even 12 months. So that is why it is only natural for us to do short-term loans. We only do maximum 24 months. Our average is 12 months. So this is a bit of I would say mismatch between supply and demand, because most SMEs, let's say Kang Bakso that you see next door, ask them what is your business plan for the next 5 years. I don't think any Kang Bakso will be able to answer that, right? To Kang Bakso, if you ask them, I only care about my cash flow for the next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. I don't even care of getting a 5 years loan. I only want 3 months loan, 6 months loans. And this is where we come in and help them to get this short-term financing at a good speed, very good speed actually, and okay straight. So this is the value proposition of peer-to-peer lending. At the same time, so as I said, good cash flow, and it is to our belief that we have to work in synergy with banks. There is no way we cannot do it without banks. To our belief, at least to Modalus believe that banks without banks without FinTECH, they will still be alive. But FinTECH without banks will die. So it is to our belief that we have to work with them. We are working with all of them in Indonesia, with Bank Sinarmas, Singapore, with DBS, obviously the largest banks in Southeast Asia, and Malaysia and RHB. Next. So this is the product that we have. I just want to slightly brief about the nano loan. So nano loan is the automated loan. This is where the tech kicks in. So in Singapore, we've already announced this and already running. In 2 working hours, we will be able to give a decision yes or no. Approval in 2 hours. In Indonesia, 6 hours. And this is where the time is, how much time do I have?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. So let's skip towards that. I'll be happy to answer your question. I'm quite sure many of you will want to know about the tech side. We'll be happy to answer later. Next. So three cities now. Next. You can skip this. This is the form of financial inclusion we're talking about. Really, it is actually borderless lending. You can see this is Jakarta, Bandung, Bali, Surabaya, and you can see people can apply from anywhere, and we can give them loans without having any branches. All are done through digital, and again, this is financial inclusion at best. Next. We have our apps. So if you're interested to try, just try $100, $1,000. So this is to my belief that you have to diversify your portfolio. If you are risk averse, probably the majority of the portion goes to deposit. It is the safest investment out there. Not investment, it is deposit, so super safe. If you want something that can make you rich, so go with Bitcoin, because it will be able to make you very, very rich. But the risk and reward is very high. Just don't choose any investment tools that has big big risk but low reward. That's gonna be stupid, right? But if you want a big and super big high risk and reward, go with Bitcoin or anything. If you want a medium risk, medium reward, then go with us. So this is the place to diversify your portfolio. We'll be able to give you quite good trades at maybe 15 to 20% a year. So you won't be able to make you super rich, but the risk is quite manageable. Next. So this is one of the phase detection that we do, because again, I don't think we have time, so we can just skip this, but it's pretty cool. We are registered in OJK. Next. So probably we're the only one who's licensed in Singapore, licensed in Malaysia, registered in Indonesia. We happen to be the chair of the planning task force for the FinTech Association. So we are in a good position to partner with anyone else, because we are in these 3 countries and officially registered or licensed. Next. We have been winning some stuff, so quite grateful. Last month was a big month, and hopefully we can be able to give up to win more. So we won MIS FinTech Award as well, the BCX Award for financial institution in Singapore as well. Next. So today we are actually in the UN event, and I just got the news that we actually won it. So we became the world's best company for the SME to approach SME issued by UN. So yeah, thank you. Next. So team, I think we can, in the interest of time, go back. This is the last slide. I just want to give you who we are. So we are comprised of local teams with the international exposure. So obviously Calvin and I met when we were at school, and we have Iwan, our Indonesia co-founder, who is actually today at Korea, and great job to him winning us the world's best SME award, and Kevin Cornell and everyone, a very, very strong team. And the risk team is quite experienced. It's there that we don't play around. So people who are very experienced joining us on the risk side. The tech side, quite strong as well. As you can see, our tech are people coming from Stanford. So yeah, we have the best tech. And really, to my belief, at least, that we have the best tech. And we have really a data team that actually do data days in, days out. And we are invested by Sequoia. So very proud to be impressed by them, and select faculties of XBS actually impressing us. And since you can see here, I'm still young, many of us still young, in the area that we need help or we ask for help. That's why we have Akatipas to help us, and we have the ex-CRO of major digital lending in China to help us on the risk side as well, avoid any pitfalls. So just to be able, just to make sure we can grow not only fast, but also grow in the right way, which is the more important thing than just growing fast. So again, hopefully that will give you a brief presentation of who we are. Happy to answer any questions later on. Thank you.